What is up, everybody? This is your boy, DK Hammonds with Social Media Church Podcast. It's been a while since y'all have seen me. Yes, I know y'all are seeing me with the same shirt. That's because I do bulk content, so don't think that I'm not taking baths in between shots. I'm taking care of my business. But we have to do this in bulk because we do run businesses outside of this. And we're so glad that you guys have taken the time to listen after the speeches that you heard yesterday. After you checked on your cats and dogs, you came in to come listen to us. And today, I have no other than, to me, the AI pastor of our generation. Dr. Lester is with me. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
What's up, man? Glad to be back here, man. You guys are so awesome. That's so funny. You got to watch your cats, your dogs, your ducks, your turkeys. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It's nothing like hearing people talk about animals like this. And you just like, hey, brother, never mind. This is not a political podcast.
Yeah,
if you guys need some politics, there are various channels that cover the politics. We're just simply over here trying to make sure that our cats and our dogs are safe at all times. That is all.
Now, I am worried about the AI cats and dogs in these images. Like, that's
Have you seen them?
Yes. Like, that's where, like, not saving the cats and the Taylor put hers up. Man. Is it real? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So if y'all don't know, Justin is family here. He's not a guest, he's family. And to me, Brother Justin is one of the premier minds as it relates to AI. One guy, Jay Smith, said it to me. He is what I would like to call a mission scientist. He is looking for ways to curate something for the kingdom so that we all can use it across the board. And so if you hadn't checked out or follow him on his social media podcast or social media channels, please feel free to do that. He's dropping that. He's dropping books. He's dropping classes. He's going to tell us more about that at the end. But brother, we're talking about what's coming down the pipeline as it relates to AI. And yes, we know, if you don't know what AI is, please take a moment to go check out our previous conversations about AI on this channel or do some YouTube research. Please do credible research. Please do credible research.
Listen,
and not that other kind of research, credible research. And you'll go find more about AI. But Justin had a previous that he dropped about these things that are coming down the pipeline with AI. And I wanted to bring him on to kind of help us, especially those who may not be able to afford the tools of AI. And you may have to do something different. Justin is going to give us that information. Brother, how you feeling? And whenever you're ready.
Yeah, man, I'm alive, man. We're here. Like I said, it's September. I turned 36 this month.
Man, so
I'm getting close to 40, man. And all of that, man. No, it's an honor to be back. What's coming up in AI? Healthcare, artificial general intelligence, AI and mental health, and AI and relationships. Man, I saw some research. I was trying to find it a second ago, but I saw how the uptick in romance and artificial intelligence has come, man. So it's not even robotics right now, but it's just AI and relationships. China, if I'm not mistaken, has a goal of making humanoid robots normalized by the end of 2025, right? And so you got robotics in about a year and a half, that was supposed to be 2027. Now it's 2025. You got AGI. So originally we were thinking, like, we met a month and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, AGI is not supposed to happen for like 5-10 years. Yeah. With Strawberry coming out, and I'll get to that in a little bit. With Strawberry coming out, OpenAI released their 10-year plan. We're looking at artificial general intelligence in the next 5 years. Now, what is AGI? AGI is like that doomsday fearful part of artificial intelligence where AI can start thinking for itself. Yeah. The simplest way to put it, for those of you who don't know what it is, like, AGI is just AI beginning to think for itself. So right now, we put the data in, right? We tell it what to think. We tell it how to build. We code it. When AI can start doing that without us, that's when humans come out of the loop, and that's where we get to all the doomsday stuff and the regulations and things. Education, man, is the other space. So like AI tutors, right? So the ability to not need tutoring sessions or need external humans, but actually AI doing it. And that's where Strawberry comes in. Now, Strawberry is the next iteration of OpenAI that we think is going to happen sometime this month in less than like 2 weeks. And from my understanding, man, it is better at solving math problems. It is better at coding than we've ever seen before.
Wow.
It is the most powerful thing. And it's crazy to think that, like, when we met a month and a half ago, I'm like, man, Claude is it. Strawberry. Yeah. And it's just how quick it goes. And then right now, to me, the best one that's out is Gemini, right? Because now Google infused it in their G Suite. And so for those people using Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google whatever, I have it in my email. You know what I mean? Like what, and not just that, but then Google kind of killed Calendly, and they killed some other spaces because they allowed you to now, all of that in your calendar. So it's just, and then automatically doing it so it can suggest. So for example, for me, like my day tomorrow is full. And so it's suggesting like, hey, where's your mental well-being time? We didn't see your therapist on your calendar this week. And it's already like a virtual assistant suggesting things to me about what to do to handle my day tomorrow. Like we see your birthday's Friday. We see your day's full on Thursday. We want to suggest these things. So it suggested I go for a walk in the morning. It suggested I go work out afterwards. And it gave me suggestions to balance my whole day out. And I haven't asked it anything. So that's really what's starting to happen. You're seeing these, the accessibility for a lot of these apps come. You're seeing a lot of the smaller apps get bought out. You're getting them, you're seeing those developers. So a lot of Google leaders have left and they started things, and it's sick. There's some of the stuff that I've seen. I have some meetings with folk later. It's sick to see what's happening. Then for the church, now you mentioned this before, man. I met the CEO of it, Pulpit AI. That thing is incredible,
man.
right?
No doubt. That's my guy,
and
man.
So man. And so if you're on here and you're like looking for a space for your sermons or anything of that nature, shameless plug, I have not getting any money from it. Pulpit AI is that kit, man, for everything after your sermon is done to have conversations with it.
Let's lift that up for a second. Oh, Mac Waddle, that's my guy's name, and good brother, good Christian man. But to see what he's been able to build, and I've been a part of the beta testing as well as one of those people just kind of watching it from afar, and where you literally can upload, and I'm sure they're going to do the YouTube link, if not anytime soon. It's probably coming very soon, where you can upload your sermon. And again, similar to sermon shots, it's going to give you everything you need for the week to support, to educate, to potentially disciple. Based on what I say all the time, the most important thing outside of you preaching is the transcript.
That's it.
Is the transcript itself. And so being able, and now the new iteration has the reels that you can pull through based on the words or the additional discipleship. I think he's doing phenomenal work. I think there's room where for those spaces of sermon shots and church.tech and Pulpit AI, there's enough room where everybody can eat. And people can use it uniquely. Now, I do like Pulpit AI because of its very simplistic view or UI UX. And that's what kind of lures me in. I don't have to kind of overthink it. Everything is sitting right there. So if you are listening to us, please, ma'am, please, sir, we're not getting paid. We're not, I think I got an affiliate maybe somewhere. There's not an additional check coming to us, but Pulpit AI.
Listen.
Check out our family over there. We're supporting their ministry. And as a pastor, you should be thinking about how you can extend the life of your sermon. Pulpit AI is one of those pieces that definitely can extend the life of your sermon where it can exist for weeks, months, years on end because of the transcribing that it has. Right?
Yeah, man. And the thing I love about it too is our sermons are the culture, right? That's what we believe, the fresh breathed word of God to give inspiration to our people that die after 45 minutes or if they remember it before they go watch football. And I love how this is the devotional, this is the email. The one thing I added into mine is create text messages. So I send out a daily text message now and I don't have to write, so it's just doing all the hard work on Monday, and we set our socials up on Bufferman and we're good, on Monday, and we're done for the week. And so that's that, man. That's the main stuff really coming down, just healthcare, mental health, relationships, humanoid robots. I'm excited about it on a personal note. I'm excited about it. I think it's really amazing. I've been experimenting with some of this stuff. And it's really cool to see the stuff that I thought was so innovative a year ago, like 11 Labs and, all of that. And it's just like, you can not. So with Apple, we can talk about Apple. With Apple stuff, I mean, just Genmoji, all of this Apple Intelligence. Like, I know they're slowing the rollout, but it's going to kill a lot of these businesses, these smaller ones, because able to take a picture of something and know what the dog is, where the dog you can get it, where the top 5 breeders are. I mean, it's just this Apple Intelligence. I mean, the watch they didn't do much to. The AirPods Pro as a hearing aid is interesting, but that visual intelligence is dope, man.
Can you imagine this hearing aid, man, from Apple is nuts?
It's an expensive hearing aid just to be able to say that you got your AirPods in. Like,
I'm glad you said that, man. I'm glad we shifted to that. I did want to talk about the romantic side, but I feel like we've had way too many his-her conversations.
Yeah, man.
And I'm tired of that. So if y'all need to hear his and her, there's a lot of those conversations out and about. But let me say this before I move on to where I'm going. Please stop misinterpreting the word about Ruth and Boaz. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
So, man, the crazy thing, before you go there, the funniest thing right now, because I got this from my church, I'm currently in a series on the book of Ruth. Right?
Okay.
And so it's so funny because I've studied that book inside out, flipped it up and down. I got all the Hesed, the did she do something on the threshing floor? Like, I have studied that thing left to right. And I saw that clip. I was like, are y'all taking this as gospel? Like, are you serious?
It's not gospel.
Like, this, what? Oh my God.
If y'all don't know, if y'all are just coming on, there's a clip out and there's a gentleman who is giving his eisegesis on what the book of Ruth represents. And for those of y'all who need a quick representation, Ruth is about the kinsman redeemer. That's it. And they're using particular articles of people that's there to tell the story about the kinsman redeemer to bring us close to him. That's why you don't hear his name, because it is implied. Now, if you take that, this person said some very, I wouldn't even say heretical. Yes, it was very theoretical, very unfounded. He did mention that he did read it. And I keep seeing that common thing that people say that they are reading, but really their synopsis doesn't suggest that they're reading. But anyway, he goes on to say that Ruth and Naomi were in a relationship romantically, and maybe that was AI. Then he goes on to say that Boaz was a sperm donor, but y'all can go check the rest of that out somewhere else. None of that is in scripture. Let me lift that up. None of that is in the holy book that you can find.
I know the article they're talking about, and I think that's where even like podcasts like this are so helpful. Yeah, because it allows us to show how like social media and how the internet can be a detriment to our work. Which is why the work we do is so important. Because I know the article they're talking about. It's an article written by a womanish scholar. Womanish student. She was a master's student, and it's an article. I remember reading it years ago. And if you read it and that's all you read, right? You're isolating that content without putting it into context. She was trying to prove a point from her own domestic violence issues, right? And so that's where it was hypersexualization. And she was trying to prove a point based upon a misread of uncovering feet. And so because of that, I've seen the article, I read it, years ago, and I know exactly. So when he said like, oh, we read it. Yeah, it's one article out there of a misinterpret. And I think getting into this, the videos, so if we isolate, even clips of, like, I joke all the time, if you isolate one part of my sermon, like 60 seconds, I'm a heretic probably every week. Because if you isolate it, it sounds crazy. And so this was a ridiculous isolation, but I think it gets to even like, as we talk about Pulpit AI, we talk about all this different type of stuff, like how important it is for us to make sure that we're consistent in our content, consistent in our exegesis, consistent in what we do. And that if we do put a blog out, if we do put something out, realize it's no longer just reaching your people. That blog was written like 12 years ago, and it has impact today. And now it's just twisting people in the midst of all the turmoil we're in already to create division and conflict. And so we didn't even need the cats and dogs. We already got, you know what I mean? We have so much division and conflict that, it's just, Keon trying to raise money. I mean, it's just all that, man. And we'll just get into it. So I think we got to be careful.
Hey, this is going to be a messy little podcast.
Listen, you just got to be careful with what we do with this stuff, man.
Another thing that you mentioned about, the romantic side, I think that's very interesting. How we want to be individualized and yet live in isolation and yet still want the community that we seek. when really some of this stuff can be mitigated by you just getting outside of your shell. And I get it. Everybody is very different. There's a very different standpoint to it, but it's very interesting to me to see how AI is putting people in relational stuff and just really next level in it. So I'm going to be watching that, and I'm sure AI has already been working behind the scenes. Now they have this exorbitant amount of data to kind of siphon through and determine who they want to impact and where. All right. So the next thing that you mentioned is about Apple. I don't know how this segue is going to work, but we're going to see how it lands. Apple has a bad eisegesis on its people.
Yeah.
And they are, by and large, continuing to give us some of the same old stuff, wrap it up in a nice package, and present it to us in a way as if we've been asleep for the last 15 years.
Agreed.
The hearing aid is crazy.
Yeah, man.
But it's not far off. Like, you guys haven't, I think I watched the other guy who's mentioned, y'all hadn't added an on or off switch to it. Yep. It's very small stuff that you can use to be more effective and efficient. And you're just going away from that by just giving us these standards. Now, I did like the watch.
Yeah.
I like the black watch, but it is just like the previous version of the watch. It is just a different color.
That's it.
Ultra has some other stuff. I like it, but Ultra is like buying a Rolex. If I'm gonna buy an Ultra, I might as well save and buy a Rolex.
Agreed.
In my opinion. When it comes to the headphones, is another place. The big Apple Maxes.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all don't stop sending out this stuff that already looks the same, acts the same, is the same, I'm going to have a problem. Now, this is the person that's probably not going to go away from Apple anytime soon. I am a devout Apple person because it does everything that I need to do. But I am tired of not getting the great rollouts that I feel like we should have. Like, they should be revisiting those good old goggles that they dropped, and they should have invested into that. But it's very clear they want no parts of those goggles right now. They're getting right back to primary. So, brother, hearing all of that, what do you think about Apple, its rollout, and then we can get into the AI that it comes with that too?
I think, man, it's similar to a lot of our churches, right? We just roll out mediocrity and rename it, right? So we sing the same songs, we just put a different beat to it, and we remix it. And I think we specialize in remixes, right? So to me, when I saw it, I saw the watch, and I like the matte black, I like the Desert Storm, I like the colors, that's dope, right? And I'm sitting here like I have a watch from 2 years ago, which I'm like, unless it dies, I'm just going to keep it till it dies. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing that outside of you can read your emails on your watch now. Nothing really has changed, right?
As pastors and church leaders, you know the power of prayer. But today's busy world, it's not always easy to keep your congregations connected and supported. That's where our friends at God Listens Digital Prayer Wall come in. At God Listens, they can help you create a space where the lonely can find comfort, the seeker can discover truth, and believers can grow in their faith. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Imagine a place where prayer requests are shared in real time, where your spiritual milestones and journeys are shared and celebrated, and where your congregation feels connected and supported no matter where they are. Don't let the barriers of time and distance limit your ministry. Text WALL to 67101 to learn more about how God listens and can transform your prayer life. With God Listens, you can expand your church's reach beyond the four walls of your building, creating a digital prayer community that's always available.
The AirPods Pro, the tech is going to come to those who have it, so it's not like another purchase you need to make. Max, it's another pair of headphones that look just like Beats, because Beats did it, and then Beats didn't which not trademark. Beats didn't patent that stuff, and they didn't grow, and they just stayed there, and everybody's doing the same thing. Now the thing I did like was the camera button. I did like that. Yeah. The addition of the camera button, be able to edit it on the fly, the isolation of the audio, the tech is beautiful.
Yeah.
But you get on the Ultra, but outside of that, like everything else just everything else just seems it's another Apple rollout that we're all going to go line up for to get the same phone, you know. And so I know every couple of years they do it, but I was excited about the only thing I was excited about was Apple Intelligence, right?
Yes.
And so I do like the visual intelligence. I do like what they're infusing. Now, what I didn't know, man, until I kept reading on it was this is what's interesting. So I've been joking with my wife. I'm not leaving Apple, but I've been joking with her that I'm going to get a Google Pixel because I'm like, the tech on Google's
nuts,
ridiculous. Visual intelligence, man, was actually built by Google. So I didn't realize that the tech on the new Apple is not Apple's, it's Google's. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to stay with Apple. Right? I know I wasn't the person having the thought, but I was like, I mean, not that I was going to leave. My wife was like, I will leave you if you have green text messages. Right? But I was saying to myself, I was like, I like Google's tech. So we went down to Google in San Jose.
Yeah.
And I mean, their space, man, is just incredible. And the tech is insane.
Yeah.
And so when I saw Apple stuff, you know, Apple Intelligence looks dope, and how, you know, I love the scan and understand, the scan and research, the reach out and whatever. I mean, it's cool. So, you know, I'm not going to upgrade personally right now until I see whatever the next iteration is. But I do love the camera button. I love that addition. Yeah, and the tech is just stuff I think you want on your phone. And, and the cool thing, everything's spatial. So everything goes to the big. So what makes me wonder is if they didn't roll the goggles out now, what are they doing? Because there's something they're doing. They have to be. If they didn't do it now, next year this time or the year after,
oh yeah,
with the robots and everything, something's going to happen with these, man. I think that's going to blow up.
The goggles are going to make their way back, but what they didn't do well is they didn't price point it well. Sure. And the audio on the goggles were phenomenal. I enjoyed the audio on the goggles, so that wasn't an issue. But if they got that tech right, where the pricing was on point, where mass America can have it, it's going to be game changing. But if you do a $3,000 wearable that Facebook is creating a $300 wearable, then you're not going to be in a good place. And I think similar to, because I have the Facebook joint over there, the tech has not caught up to the actual presentation that they brought to us.
Yeah.
And so that's going to take, I feel like, 5 or 6 more years before that tech is just like really right. And then you can put some goggles back on and it's a whole nother user experience altogether. So I definitely agree with that. Now let's get into this AI, because I see Apple is really invested heavily in how they're going to present this AI. And they didn't appreciate good old ChatGPT, because I could just tell by the way they're coming at this, we didn't appreciate y'all catching us off guard.
Yeah.
But classic Apple. But since you did it, we're going to take what you have and we're going to ramp it up, and it's going to be an unstoppable force.
Yeah, man.
So I'm definitely paying close attention to how they use it. Now, let's say in church, how could we use this AI technology on Apple? Well, those QR codes are going to look way different now.
Oh my God.
Those QR codes that's all over the place.
We don't need them.
We don't need them anymore. Let me say this too, since we say we don't need them. Stop putting QR codes on your flyers. I'm absolutely tired of that. Stop putting these QR codes. Listen, do y'all understand we got to take 4 steps to go get the information when you can just include the information? My bad, man.
QR codes died. Like, QR codes did a Twitter to us, right? Like, they came, they died, and then COVID brought them back, right?
Sure
and
did.
Now people are putting them on I see them in the corner of everything, and I'm like, they are used to be in person for quick hit, right? That's it. Like, so they don't type it in, and it's literally for a different generation.
It is.
But, so my gosh.
We got to do better with the QR codes. We no longer want to see them on the flyers in the corner. Y'all are not slick. We can see that you didn't do enough information. I'm going to tell you another thing that AI has gotten up out of here with QR codes: link trees.
Yeah, man.
Linktree is right behind them QR codes.
That's it.
Because now they're pushing people back to the websites.
Yeah, man.
And all of your information is on your site. Now,
that's it.
And insert mini chat You don't need a QR code because ManyChat can perform exactly the same way as your link tree could perform.
And the cool thing, man, is what you can add into ManyChat. I think it's on the pro version. You can add in your website and it'll automatically build a chatbot to chat with your website. So as you update your website, so like you don't even need, so like we don't have this function, but we have we use church funnels on some stuff. Absolutely. And so it's automatic to communicate with us and then utilize our website to communicate back to people. So with the updates we put out, it just automatically the data comes in. And so like with chat functions, like that's AI agents. To everyone listening, AI agents are the future for your church. Right? Absolutely. So that's ManyChat, that's Delphi. I mean, whatever that is for you, voice flow. AI agents, the chat bots, all of that is the way to go, especially if you update your stuff. Now, if you have a static website that's never updated and a static social media that's never updated, then you're killing yourself, right? Yes. So that you're still stuck on QR codes and link trees and, go follow us here, go do this, go do that. But if you really want people, they have to be able to access you when they want to, and not just in your office hours. So like you can be open from 9 to 5, but people have questions at 12 a.m.
Absolutely.
I get questions all the time, man. Like Delphi automatically updates with my sermons. I get questions of people like thinking about my sermon at like 2:00 in the morning. Like, Pastor, you said this. What do you think? And they know it's an AI agent because I'm not going to respond to you at 2:00 in the morning. But they're having full-fledged conversations with my sermon at 2 a.m. And I think that's where we have to get to as churches. AI agents are where we need to go. And you're right about Apple, man. Apple said, screw that. We're going to do this. I think it's like them and Meta are just like competing in Palo Alto, man, just for fun. And they're open source. Meta's open source is Llama is just incredible. But yeah, man, Apple's visual intelligence, Apple intelligence is just, it's a beautiful thing to see. Yeah, man, they're doing it.
It's definitely chef's kiss, and I love what Apple is doing. Please, man, please, sir, we'll clip the link that you need to go watch the entire rollout that's happening. I think some of the rollouts will happen. You'll get the product, I believe, in 2 weeks, whether it be the phone or the new headphones and things of that nature. But with every good thing that we discuss that's futuristic, we also have to discuss what is going away from us. So those of us who have that good old Apple 15 that has the best camera in the whole wide world, your phone is going to be up out of here. I think it's 13. Man.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be up out of here. And now you're going to have to find another phone or keep that phone because the camera quality is so dope and purchase you another one. I think it's something else that's also leaving us. I'm going to tell you what I've also been watching. Apple low-key be doing sales on their iPads.
Yeah, man.
I seen Costco did this recently where they had, I think it was it was a last year's 10. And it was $129.
Mm-hmm.
Now Costco ain't got it anymore because I went to Costco because they had that Insta360 camera too for $100.
Yeah, man.
So I went there and they didn't have them anymore. But those things are now starting to be super accessible where you can use them and get into them. Went on that tangent because I just want people to understand that this tech, you can have it in your hands for little or nothing to get yourself going, and then you can really next level tech as a whole. So
listen, go ahead, bro. To speak to that, man, how fast the world is moving,
man, no doubt.
And so it's moving even fast for innovators, right? So, was it a month and a half ago, Strawberry was just like, oh yeah, OpenAI's they put a Strawberry out on their Twitter and we'll see what happens on X. And we'll see. And now it's coming out. I think the same thing with iPads, where like iPads were like the thing, and then Kindles and all this, and now and Google's and Amazon's Alexa, Amazon's like Piece 2, and it's just like all of a sudden like, yeah, $129 iPads, and you don't see many updates to it because it's your computer for most people, right?
Yep.
And so I think we have to be aware of, I think for our churches and our ministries and even our nonprofits, how quickly things are moving. Then we have to be aware in healthcare and education and in government work about how quickly things are going. And I think too often, like you were getting to like how we use Apple intelligence in our churches, we have to, we have to stop with the relics in a lot of our churches, right? And then also, but it becomes a chance to teach on those relics, right? So why the heck is the Bible on the communion table if it's there? What do the candles mean? if anything? And if we were to use visual intelligence, would it tell us anything, right? What is it about our desks? What is it about our bar tables? What is it about our songs? So now I'm able to listen to the song and be like, what does this mean scripturally? If we're not explaining what it means, then we're the ones that are falling apart. The same thing goes for our sermons. So it was funny. I was talking to someone, Pulpit AI. He and I we were talking about Bible chat. And I said, like, the group of people in my church that use Bible chat, those of you who know Bible chats and how you can chat with Bible, the people who don't use Bible chat are not young, they're old. It's people that have been in church but haven't had a deep relationship with Christ. And I think it becomes a chance for us now as pastors and leaders to make sure we're doing the mission. Like, we have to be on mission because the world is moving at a pace we've never seen before. Right? In terms of flying cars, like these drone-looking cars that are being experimented on in San Francisco. Man, I don't know if you've seen about these self-driving cars, and they are just normal. They're just normal. They're just normal in San Francisco. And we joked, we're like, my wife was like, there's no way that car doesn't have a driver. No, there's like 20 of them that don't have drivers, that are just, and there's hundreds of them in San Francisco. And I think the world is moving at a pace that we've never seen. And our businesses, and this is not just churches, like our businesses, our churches, if you're just coming around to a kiosk, you know what I mean, that has Cash App, if you're just coming around and you got QR codes, you guys think you're innovative. If you're just coming around to that, you're 20 steps behind. And that's not even saying, like, in large language models at this point, like you were getting to, they're so infused in our phones and our tablets. I mean, large language models are just, they're going to progress. They're old now. How you use it is what's important. But now visual intelligence changes everything. So now they don't have to type. And I think that's the big thing. If I don't have to type, like, what type of dog is that looks like this, it looks like this, looks like this. So I didn't realize this. I mean, I knew this stuff, but all those CAPTCHAs is how they're learning this stuff. So CAPTCHAs are what's teaching the code what things are. So what is a fire hydrant? What's a dog? What's a car? And so we're clicking, well, is this all, all that stuff we joke about. But now you can go take a picture of a water dog. Like, my wife wants a water dog. Like, I didn't know what it was. I took a picture of it. Like, oh, okay, that's what you want. Boom. Now I know exactly where it is, who the top breeders are, where to go, what to feed them, what to this. And then I literally ask my ChatGPT, create a plan for how to take care of the first 6 months of this dog. And I'm like, bet. Like, I'm good. I ain't got to research it. I got to call no one to save me money to invest more into this dog. Visual intelligence, when people don't have to use their words anymore, changes so much. And I think it speaks to the last thing here. I was listening to a podcast about Generation Alpha, my son's generation. So my son is 7. That generation is going to be growing up with this stuff. So, like, I grew up with Tamagotchi and Snake and a Nokia, right? And we thought we were something, and Walkmans,
Nintendo.
Right? Yeah, he's growing up, or these children, these, and I think for our churches, the millennial group, like my generation, we're old. Like, I'm tired of, like, we got to reach millennials. We got kids. Someone's got grandkids, right? We old, right?
For and real old.
Yeah, Gen Z's making money. They're in college. They're about to get into relationships. They're making bad decisions, good decisions, whatever. They're in it. And honestly, I don't know if you had to deal with their last 8 years. I don't know how you lived through all that.
Come on.
But Gen Alpha is, I think, the generation we got to disciple better. I think we have to disciple Gen Alpha in such a way, because this is what they're growing up with visual intelligence. They're growing up with Google Glass. They're growing up with the Apple goggles. They're growing up with Facebook's Pixels and Facebook's goggles. And we got to disciple them. And it's not virtual reality church. It's making sure that everything we do makes sense. And I think right now our churches don't make sense. We're trying to reach so many people and we're trying to please so many. We don't make sense. Like, you can throw a rock and go into a black church and we sound the same, right? And then we get mad. We throw a rock and go into a southern, like this is stereotypical southern white church, predominantly white church, and it sounds the same as one down the street. White evangelical churches, whether it's Staunch or whether it's New School, we all sound the same. What makes you different? What makes you unique? And make sure it makes sense. Like, make sure your stuff makes sense. I think that's where we're at, man.
I'm going to go bold here. If you're trying to be different, and we monitor the last, let's just say 5 years, the tastemakers or difference makers in church have been those who have embraced technology.
That's it.
In any shape, form, or fashion. If you're putting screens or inner ears or various product models, whether it be push pay, forgiving, Givelify, those technological advances is what makes you different. I also think those technological advances is going to make its way down the pipeline of discipleship. And when it does, the way that it needs to do it, then we're going to experience this new wave. And it's best for us to get on top of it. So a couple of churches, I've had the opportunity to build out their LMS systems to further educate people about church. And so that is kind of what I'm trying to tell churches. Hey, we can create universities. We can create schools to educate appropriately directly through your church. And so if we embrace that, those who can afford and those who cannot, there's still cheaper ways to do it. We got to start making that excuse too. AI has kind of even helped you with that. If you don't have the money, you have some AI, and AI can probably cut half of what you need to get you where you're trying to go. Mm-hmm. So I think that's all of that is important. And we do have to do a better job at discipling the generation to come, not the generation that it is. That's the generation behind us. The one that's coming behind them is the one that needs the most help, because I would say, based on some of these clips that I'm seeing, some of them are not, they're easily manipulated through scripture. The leadership is pulpit command control driven. And so therefore it's hard to kind of get that embedded theology that you need that's going to be unshakable when things happen. And so that's where I think is going to be the next wave. And with using AI is going to help you have better connections with people. AI is going to do all of these things that we just discussed to make it easier for you. As a pastor and church leaders, you know the power of prayer. But today's busy world, it's not always easy to keep up with your congregations connected and supported. That's where our friends at God Listens Digital Prayer Wall come in. And God does listen. They can keep and help create a space where the lonely can find comfort, the seeker can discover truth, and the believer can grow in their faith. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Imagine a place where prayer requests are shared in real time, where your spiritual milestones and journeys are shared and celebrated, and where your congregation can feel connected and supported no matter where they are. Don't let the barriers of time and distance limit your ministry. Text WALL to 67101 to learn more about how God listens and can transform your church prayer life. With God Listens, you can expand your church's reach beyond the four walls of your building, creating a digital prayer community that's always available. Listen, y'all, we've had a dope conversation here at Social Media Church. My friend, my brother, Dr. Justin, he's one of the smartest ones I know out in the game. And if y'all want to see more, please go to our YouTube. Justin, before we get up out of here, tell the people how they can follow you, brother.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, TikTok at That Tech Pastor. Daily, we're putting up stuff about stuff, and That Tech Pastor. I have a masterclass coming up at the end of this month, masterclass online, and then I'm currently finishing the build out. I'm super excited of something called Pastor GPT, and so that'll be out by the end of the month. I got the back end. I'm trying to get the UI, UX together, but the back end's being built. I'm super excited. So while Pulpit AI helps your sermon after you finish it, I'm trying to help you as a pastor to get to it. So that's your marketing, your media, your staff models, and your sermon prep. So how all of that correlates together. So I want to get you to your sermon. Pulpit AI is going to get you past it. And so super excited. But yeah, That Tech Pastor, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And it's just a super dope community that we're building. Man, it's crazy. I started doing TikTok for fun. And that thing has just grown, and it's just really amazing to see the hunger for people when it comes to tech and the intersection of faith and tech. So, and I have books on my website, jaredlester.com. My most recent one is AI to Z, ABCs of AI for Kids. And we just go through A to Z, and it's a little robot that my son and I created that helps you go through AI to Z, algorithms all the way down to X's and O's. So it's just a lot of fun. So thank you, man, for allowing me to be on here again.
I appreciate it, man. We'll see y'all later. Peace.